Hey guys, Soul Closet here, back making another video, and today I'm going to be doing a, not formal, but I guess an existent review of this board right here. This is my new XD60 build that I bought on r/mech market, which, if you're not aware, is the subreddit for swapping mechanical keyboards and parts. So it's not, I guess, something that you would review the same way that you would like a commercial product. All of my boards in the past have been commercial products that I've either purchased or, in one case, received through the Reddit Secret Santa. But either way, this is my first custom board. I do have another custom board that I got before this, but it doesn't work. And it never actually had a case until it stopped working when I bought a case for it and then tried to use it when I got the case in the mail, and it wouldn't register certain keys. So I don't consider that a custom that I own, that I've used, that actually works. So this is really my first experience with a custom keyboard. The benefit to that, or at least one of them, is that this keyboard has some really cool things. I have it propped up here so you can see the underglow lighting, and I can cycle through a few different settings for that. So it's got all these different things. It's got so many. You can see it's got some obnoxious pulsing modes. Many different things. It's got that rainbow wave that everything RGB seems to love having. It also has a backlight. It's just white. It's kind of freaking out because I have the wave on the underglow. It doesn't quite have the right power delivery to handle both at once, but I prefer to keep the backlight off anyway, but it goes up pretty bright. It's just white. Either way, let me set this back to the one that I like. Is that it? Yeah. And I'll continue talking. So this board features Zealios switches. And you can hear a pseudo sound test of these on my board in the video I did recently playing Stepmania with this keyboard, if you're interested. But Zealios switches, if you're not aware, are a purple-stemmed switch designed by Zeal, a member of the community, and manufactured by Gatoron. Not sure how well you'll be able to see this. Not at all. Let me get the flashlight on my phone. I have one in a switch tester right here. You can see, oh, focus. Not going to focus. You don't like me, do you? Either way, you can see that they've got a purple stem, and they're a tactile switch. They do not have a clicker, as you can hear. No click. But they are tactile, and they're very tactile at that. They are the most tactile switches I have ever used, including MX Clears, which are one of the most tactile of the official MX switches. So that's cool. When I bought this board, well, I didn't buy it. When I traded for this board, I gave up my 10-keyless Leopold board that had MX Blues because I wasn't even using it on my desk. I was using an An Pro with Gatoron Reds at the time. And I decided that I wanted to, one, have a custom board because that's cool and I can program it and it's got all sorts of cool features there. And also, two, I wanted to try out a switch that you could only really get in a custom board. Zealios are one such switch. I believe there might be one or two commercially sold boards that can be pre-assembled with Zealios, but by and large they're purchased as individual switches, either on their own or as part of a kit for building a board with. And the person who I got this from got it from someone else who built it just like this with the Zealios. Full disclosure, these Zealios are modified. They are instead of being 67-gram Zealios, which is one of the stock weightings, they actually have 68-gram springs from Spirit. I'm not sure if that's a person or a company, but either way, I'm fairly certain it's a Chinese line, brand, source, whatever you want to call it. Don't like that lighting. There we go. But either way, so this is using 68-gram Spirit springs, and it's also using Gatoron housings, just like it normally would, but instead of being clear on the top and the bottom, it's using black bottoms and clear tops. Ideally, that shouldn't affect anything about the feel, but I just wanted to explain how these switches have been modified from stock. So now that I've covered the switches, or at least covered everything about the board that you need to know up front, kind of haphazardly, because of course I didn't plan this. I don't use scripts. This board is an XD60. You may have seen that from the title. But the XD60 is a custom board PCB that fits in a 60% case. It is the same size around as a 60%. And indeed, you can insert the switches and use it like a normal 60%. However, you can see, if you're familiar with keyboard layouts, that this is not a 60% right now. This is laid out as a 65%. 65% is a layout that, whether it's either the same size as a 60% or a little bit bigger, it's basically a 60 but with arrow keys. Sometimes at the expense of certain other keys. For example, this board does not feature a right control. It's just got 4 arrow keys in the corner, function here, alt here, and then it's got the normal control Windows alt on this side. I've forgone a menu key and my right control with my mapping. In addition, right here I have a delete key, and right here I have right shift, and you can see it's only 1 unit as opposed to the 3 units or 2.75 units. Yeah, 2.75 units that it would normally be for right shift. So significantly smaller, but I've gotten used to using the left one, which also is reduced to 2 units in this particular configuration. The only other change from a normal 60% is that the backspace, rather than being 1 2-unit key, is 2 1-unit keys, although I have mapped both of them to backspace because I don't consistently use one or the other when I reach for backspace, so I just made them both backspace on my board. But this board does support QMK, which is a custom firmware for keyboard PCBs, and you can map it completely using config.qmk.fm or your other mapping of choice, and then you can flash it using QMK Toolbox, I believe is the newest program to do so. It's very straightforward once you get a hang of pressing the reset button on the back for flashing, which tripped me up for a while the day that I got this. So, for usability, this board feels great and sounds great, and it's great. Let me mute my Windows sound so I can click over here for a second. I'm not typing into any particular field, so it's going to make all sorts of noises at me, but let me type on this just briefly. So, it's so good. It's so good. When you type... So, I've never used Zealios before except for in that switch tester that I showed you guys a couple minutes ago. So I only ever used one Zealio. I never used a board with Zealios or anything this smooth and tactile. MX clears, in my experience, are scratchy and too heavy. These are perfect by comparison. I would like them if they were a little lighter. I did some spring swapping on my switch tester just to see, and I do like them with slightly lighter springs, 50 gram or so instead of 68. But these are still amazing to type on. And they're not lubed or anything, but they're still smooth as anything. They are, for being tactile switches, which obviously means they have that contact as they go down, they're so smooth. They go down so smoothly. And I really have no complaints about the usage of this board in general. The layout took some getting used to, and I did have to tweak my key map here and there to get the right things on function layers so that I could control my computer like I'm used to. And I had to reprogram it to Dvorak layout because that's what I type in personally. But once I was done figuring out the mapping and I was actually onto using the board casually, it's really great. I mean, there were all those jokes when Zealios were first released about there's Zealios for your Felios, and as much as I was in on those memes, I never really knew until I had them. I honestly can't recommend them enough. If you have a chance to either build for yourself or receive a pre-built board from someone else with Zealios in them, get the weighting that's right for you. I think 67 is the lowest stock weighting, and for me, I'd still like it a little lighter because I have weak hands and wrists. But get your hands on some Zealios if you can. You'll thank yourself when you get to use them. And everything else I've gone over about this board is really just an extra nice bonus. So yeah, I kind of did that out of order, this review, because I kind of talked about all of the weird facts, and then I said like a couple opinions here and there sparsed throughout. But hopefully, if you've gotten to this point, you know that I really love this board, and I would highly suggest that if you are looking for a 65%, that you choose the XD60, because in this configuration, which I think is fairly close to the stock configuration, and as far as the key layout, it's really great to use. And easy to set up. Obviously, I didn't build it, so I can't comment on that, but I'm sure that whoever built it didn't have too much trouble, and it works just fine. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like if you would like to do that. If not, you can leave a dislike if you so choose, and please leave me a comment to let me know what I'm doing well, what I could be doing better. Don't ask me why I don't make videos, because I already made a video about that. And if you have any questions about this board, or about my experience on Mech Market buying it, or receiving it, or anything else like that, just feel free to leave a comment. I always check them. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Soul Closet out.